Thank you. We are delighted to welcome you to the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Brawijaya, Malang, Indonesia, for the opening ceremony of Guest Lecture of the Psychology of Finance. Don't lose your shirt 2021. This guest lecture intended to connect the academia, researchers, investors, and savers to gain insight into how emotions and neurochemistry work when we are involved in an investment, and what behaviors to avoid and the right ones to dodge major financial losses. It's an honor to me, Natania Marcelia, as the MC today, to introduce and welcome the guests at our table. The Honorable Chair of the Economics and Department of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Brawijaya, Mr. Dr. Rerpol Wildan Shafitri, SA, MSc. The Honorable Mrs. Dr. Nurul Badriah, the Honorable Mr. Satyo Tri Wahyudi, PhD, the distinguished speaker from Komitati Cittadini Indipendenti, Dr. Stefano Shipa Balani from University of Padova, Italy. And also, respected moderators, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. For a brief moment, we would like to invite you to stand up and sing the Indonesian anthem, Indonesia Raya, which will be conducted by Mrs. Radita. To Mrs. Radita, the floor is yours. Thank you. You may be seated now. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are going to listen to the opening speech delivered by the Chair of Department of Economics of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Brawijaya. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Rer Paul Wildan Shafitri.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to this uh, seminar and welcome to Brawijaya, Dr. Stefano Shipa Paletti and Mrs. Stefano, Mrs. Shipa Paletti atau ini teman kita Mbak Rosida. Ini dulu she was indicator uh, journalist when he was a student, and also Punurul friends and Punurul, thank you, and also all of students that coming in this seminar and conference. I very appreciate and for your coming in this forum. Today we have a lecture about psychology of finance. Mr. Stefano is well, actually he is a musician, a therapist musician, but he also have knowledge and have ability how to give a lecture about finance. I think he also studied in Italy, Mr. Stefano, and thank you. And all of students, this is the first time we have a seminar with offline seminar. Before all of activity, we use with online activity. Now, I think the first time, and I hope with the decreasing of COVID case in our country, or actually in Malang, we hope in the next event we can make the same activity, even not only student, also lecture. Now we trying to start online offline meeting. And I also appreciate and thank you for all of committee that also Bu Vita that the moderator. She is also the new doctor in our department. Okay, thank you for coming, and I hope this conference or the seminar we find or we have some important finding or some important result that we can learn about finance and how we connect economics, finance, and psychology. This is very, very interesting. Okay, thank you for time, and the time I back to moderator. From me, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Vedan Shafitri, SAMS, for the opening speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will continue to the next session. However, before we move further to the next agenda, we would like to invite you, Dr. Stefano Shivapalini, to come to the stage because we would like to present the ceremonial gift to you for sharing your expertise with us in the session. And for the present, the ceremonial gift kindly is invited the Chair of the Department of Economics of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Brawijaya, Mr. Dr. Repol Wildan Shafitri, SMEC. And now we will hold a photo session. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to take a position. Okay, now we are going to the main session that will discuss about the psychology of finance beyond the short chart, which will be delivered by our keynote speaker, Mr. Dr. Stefano Shipa from University of Padova, Italy. The keynote speech will be moderated by Mrs. Pita Devia, SS, SA, PhD, of Philosophy of Doctor graduate at Huaqiang University of Science and Technology in 2020 with a major in finance. She is one of our great lecturers and has many publications on finance and monetary topics. One of interesting topics is entitled, Does Tourism Growth Create a Trickle-Down Effect in Rural Areas? Published by the International Journal of Services, Economics and Management in 2020. To Mrs. Vita Devia, SS, SA, PhD, time is yours.
Yes. Okay, thank you for Nathania. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Mr. Wildan Savitri as Head of Department of Economics, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Brawijaya. Honorable Dr. Nurul Badriah as Secretary of Department of Economics, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Brawijaya. And honorable all the audiences today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm Vita Devia as moderator today. Welcome to the morning guest lecture. Okay, today guest lecture is talk about psychology of finance. Don't lose your shirt. Okay, first of all, let me introduce our speaker. On my right side is Dr. Shipa from University of Padova, Italy. Yeah, on this occasion, he will present the materials for approximately maybe 60 minutes. And then after that, there will be a discussion sessions for approximately 30 minutes. Okay, before he makes his presentations, allow me to read his CV first. Dr. Stefano Shipa, expert in psychologist, music therapist, art therapist, counselor, trainer, and educator. Born September 7 in 1968 in Bergamo, Italy. He got a bachelor degree in jazz and modern music from Conservatory GB Martini of Bologna, master in psychology and doctor in psychology from University of Padova. And he has many awards and training certificates, such as from World Health Organization's Certificate for Cooperation at the International Project Healthy Cities at Athens in 1998, postgraduate training for mental health department and the family counseling. And his current position is as head of research in Universitas Negeri Malang, related in research in music therapy. And his current position is as project manager, as a board member, consultant for financial behavioral support and rehabilitation for gamblers and small investors. Okay, start from now until maybe for next 60 minutes. Please focus your attention on the presentations. Let's welcome Dr. Stefano. The time is yours.
Okay. Are you going to translate, or should I have a straightforward talk? Okay. But I don't know, it's for the audience, you know. Okay, I will start maybe if you think it's appropriate, you will translate. Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Mr. Stefano Shipa from Italy. I'm a psychologist, researcher, artist, and I'm currently leading a 3 years research program in Universitas Malang about music therapy. We are creating a new form of therapy made with sound to treat anxiety, depression, and obsessive compulsive disorder. But today I'm here as an investor. I'm an investor myself in stocks and derivatives market, like futures, option trading, currency trading, commodity ETF. And I got about 8 years tuition, private education in financial trading. And I created my own trading system, which gave me about 70 statistics about the financial tools I'm intended to operate. And as a clinical, I want to tell you how I arrived at this. As a clinical psychologist, at a certain point of my life, some people came to me with the kind of problem that is called ludopathy. Ludopathy is about gambling addiction. You know, people who gamble, they play like casino games, poker games, card games, all kind of gambling games. And they had a problem of addiction. They lose a lot of money. They endanger their families. Sometimes they lose their property and savings. And I noticed that other people with the same problem were losing money in stocks, forex trading, and all these kind of things. And I realized that they had basically the same problems. Gambling and losing money in financial investment activities, they have basically the same problem, which is about misjudgment, emotional lack of control, lack of discipline. So I began to study myself how this could happen, because I had to take care of these people. I have to cure them. And over time, I learned about a lot of gambling and stock market investing, because I wanted to invest my savings too, to make some profit and secure my future. So I decided to gamble myself for about 1 or 2 years to really understand what happens in the mind of those people. I put a little capital, about $3,400, something like this. Not a huge sum of money, because I knew that I was going to lose it, maybe. And so I started to gamble in a sports bet, like soccer, horse racing, this kind of things. And in a very short time, I was so-called lucky. I doubled the money and subsequently lost everything because but it was a great teaching, a great school, maybe the best I had in financial, because I know how people who win and lose money, how they feel. I know it completely. And with the tool of psychologists and which is my business, and then I studied also a lot of statistic and probability theories of gambling, because I wanted to know the scientific technical part. After 1-2 years, I had quite a clear idea why people lose money. And then I had to learn how they make money, because if you know how to lose money, you have to stop. You have to analyze what you're doing wrong, what's going wrong, and then you have to find the right behavior, the right technique. But the first thing is not to lose money. And today, I think it's not necessary to lose money if you want to make money. Just you have to study, I think, for some years. It's not something that can happen overnight. Maybe the university should teach these things. I don't know if you teach in your program how to manage risk, how to create a validate trading program or trading system as you wish, how to avoid the pitfalls of the cognitive distortion that are natural in the human mind. That's what we are going to talk about today. Okay, so this is a little personal presentation about myself. Now we get in the body of the presentation of the speech today. So the first thing where I think everybody knows about stock markets or financial trading is that there are a common way of saying or motto or proverb, like trend is your friend. Stop your losses, let your profits rise. Or the most common one, I think, is fear and greed, which is an emotional force, drive the markets. The markets is dominated not by fundamentals data, but is dominated by emotion, fear and greed. This is very common. And I think it's partly true. I think it's true, not completely true, but it's a good deal of investing in stock market is dominated by fear and greed. So these are emotions that determine the most basic mistake investors do. And not only beginners, it can happen all over, your life. If you don't understand how it really works, and you learn how to control yourself, how to dominate yourself. What are you going to do? Why are you investing? What are your motivation? What are you really doing? What you want to make money for? This is more difficult for young people, because senior, they have less time and they have experience. So maybe they don't even need to invest. They don't need money. But young people, they want to be successful. They want to make money. They want to be rich, famous. But they don't know how to do. So as a consequence, they don't have a control of themselves. They have to, most of all, take time to know themselves. I think this is the most important thing about investing strategies. maybe apparently it doesn't have a direct connection. But if you don't know yourself, you don't know your real motivation, you don't know what you're doing. What do you need the money for? Money is a tool to do something else. And not like most people do. They want to have a bunch of money and sit and look at it all their life. You know, they're not really going to use it. I think it doesn't make sense. So later we will talk about this motivation. But first, let's have a look how the mind, the natural mind, the physiological mind works. What are these impulses we feel as emotions, this motivation? What are these impulses? Why I like this? Why I dislike this? Why I have what a certain thing? Why I'm looking for another kind of thing? Why I feel this strong need to do something, whatever it is. This is determined by natural mechanism, which is incentivized by so-called neurotransmitters, which is a certain chemical sometimes we have in the brain. Someone call it hormones that give you the signal that some moment of your life you need to do that thing, like eating or drinking or going to the toilet. You know, these are the basic needs of not only human beings but also animals. And this is determined by nature and then is associated to some mental or symbolic activity. For example, I want to eat. And then I think about the bank because I go to the ATM machine to get some money to eat. Yeah, so I have a mental representation, while the animal just go and look for food and eat it. There is not this mental representation. You want to translate? No? I can speak with this, okay. So the emotions are the colors of our life. It motivates all our actions. Huh? They have a natural function that is directly linked to survival. They exist because we need to do something that promotes the survival of the individual or the species at large. If we have no emotion, we don't feel the need to do anything. We just sit and die. Huh? So don't make an illusion of yourself. When you love someone, when you want to do something, when you want to be important in a group of person, there is a chemical factor underneath. It's not only fantasy. And this is because nature push you to do a certain thing, push you. Because you need to survive, you and your species as a human being and all the animals and everything which is alive on this earth works this way. We get like a signal, like a traffic light. It's green. Go to do a certain thing. And in your mind, even if you don't learn it, a lot of behavior are determined by natural impulse that we call instincts. Have you ever heard this word? Instinct. There's also a movie, Basic Instinct. All right, so the emotion exists as the natural biological outcomes of evolution. They motivate our behaviors. Of course, we have a lot of behaviors. So when an electric stimulus in the brain start, and because we are going to do a certain kind of activity, there's always a specific neurotransmitters that let the signal go through. It's really actually like a traffic light. And between two neurons, the neurons are the cell that compose the brain, and the communication between those cells and the different areas or the brain of the brain are connected by electrical activity, electric impulse. And this impulse must be started and stopped, because if it's never stopped, it's always going, and the energy is exhausted. So this neurotransmitter let the signal to go from one cell to another. And then when the signal has passed from one area of the brain and the other area, which is devoted to a certain kind of specific activity, this chemical is retired and the signal stops. Otherwise, we go in a condition of overexcitement, and certain kind of psychological, psychiatric disorder are caused by this excess of electrical activity, which today is mostly regulated with drugs, with medicines. So when we have a certain kind of emotion that motivate a certain kind of behavior, electrical activity happens inside the brain. And those emotions have a different color, and they have a different kind of neurotransmitters, different. About the most important one who motivate the most basic emotions, we have 5 neurotransmitters. Now we're going to meet them briefly. I will give you an introduction about these neurotransmitters. It's dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, and cortisol. These 5 substances, they have many functions. They regulate many bodily activity, many physiological activity, like heartbeat, sleep, wake, hunger, things that are automatic in the body. You don't have to think about it. They are completely automatic. But they also regulate the emotional excursus of what you experience as a feeling. Again, because this feeling, they help you to adapt yourself to the environment. They help you to survive. And now we see how it is happening. So briefly, the dopamine take action when you feel a sense of satisfaction or reward because you get something that makes you feel good. So it can be food. When you eat food, you are satisfied. Dopamine is released in the brain. When you watch some movie or you listen beautiful music, dopamine is released and you have a sense of satisfaction. You know this word reward. When you get some reward, dopamine is released and you feel a sense of wellness, complete satisfaction. And then you want to do it again, because when you feel good once, your memory register this experience and store it in your hard disk, which is the brain, natural hard disk. And if you want to feel that feeling again, you go to do the same thing. So to make a real example, you go to the kue shop, you eat some kue and it's very good, and then you want to eat it again the next day. You know where you have to go. Not only all the stimulus that comes from the environment that looks similar. Maybe you are in Surabaya, you want to eat kue, you look around or you see some similar shop, and then your memory recalls the feeling you had the previous day, and you can do it again because you think, oh, if I go there, I will find the same thing. I will be happy. And that's how it happened that I'm almost 100 kilos weight now since I'm in Indonesia. I eat too much kue. So sugar give addiction and gives also problem, a lot of problems, but give happiness, a lot of happiness. Then let's move to serotonin. Is another kind of a neurotransmitter which is implied in a social satisfaction. So,
Okay, to the next slide, please.
can I go on? Okay. Serotonin is implied in a social approval and social reward. So when I put some post on Instagram, and many people likes it, many people put like or Facebook, you have a sense of satisfaction because you feel important. Or maybe you do sports, you practice competition, you win one competition, or you have a good score, a good result, and they give you a medal, you feel important. Or maybe you play music, you play a concert, and the people likes it, you feel important. Serotonin is released all through your brains and flood your brain, and you have that feeling of goodness, of importance, and then you want to do it again. Then we have, okay, these are the most important one in financial activity. Because in finance, what happens is your brain is not much different than food. You have a satisfaction if you make money. You want more and more. Because it's never enough. It's not like food. When you eat a lot, your belly is full, you're satisfied. You can't eat anymore. It's not the same with money. That's a problem because money is symbolic, doesn't really exist. It's just a shared idea, but in nature, there is no money. If you give a dog a sausage and 100,000 rupiah banknote, it will choose the sausage. But if you give it to a man, I get the banknote because I know I can do mental calculation. I can do abstract thinking. I know with the banknote, I can buy many sausages, right? That's also a problem beyond a certain limit. But money is not real. It's real because we all use it. We share this idea, we accept it. It's like the casino fish. Just the fish or the chip, you can use it only inside the casino, but money, you can use it everywhere. But I think this is very important for young people who will start to manage money in financial institution, to know that money is not real. That's why it's so important that you know yourself, your motivation, your customer motivation, because that's real. Money is only something that helps you to do another thing that you have to know what it is before you start, if possible. Okay. That's serotonin. It's about social reward. Then what comes next? I think in the presentation we have oxytocin maybe. Oxytocin is similar to serotonin. It's about social rewarding, but it's more about family, about mating, making a couple, having a group of friends, going to the Stadion Olympic Garden and be a Rema supporter. We're like a family or like a group, and that makes you feel safe. That's my family, that's my kids, that's my group of friends. I feel safe because together we have more probability to survive. That's nature. These things in society are quite lost, They are mediated by symbolic activities, but in nature, you can imagine your ancestor maybe 500,000 years ago, they had to survive in Java with predator animals, and alone they would die. As a group, they could protect one each other and survive. And so nature creates this feeling of safety if you are among your similars. And that's oxytocin. Then we have, I think, endorphin. If you can move the presentation. Endorphins is about forgetting the pain. Mm. So if you have an accident, if someone attacks you and you're hurt, for a few minutes, maybe you're not going to feel any pain at all. That happens in sports too. Why people, they like to practice difficult and dangerous times sports very hard? It's because this substance, which is called endorphin, is released in the body, and you feel good. You don't feel pain. Exactly, it's like a drug, can give you addiction. If you practice too much, you can damage your body. And this is endorphins. Again, it has the function to promote survival. So if we think about our ancestor in the prehistoric era again, we know that maybe someone was attacked by an animal and was wounded, was hurt, and maybe needed to counterattack or run away. And he needs energy, and this substance is released. So he forget completely any kind of pain for some minute. He can fight, even with a broken arm, maybe, or with a wounded body. And this gives him more chance to survive, because this thing, this chemical, have the power to make you forget pain. Okay, now we go, all these, you understand, all these chemical have a positive feeling connected. It's all positive. You get dopamine, you feel satisfied because you get a reward. You get serotonin, you are satisfied because you feel important. You get oxytocin, you feel good because you are among your family. You get endorphin, you feel good because you feel powerful. You don't feel pain, you forget the pain. But these things, after some times, they decayed, they diminish, they wear off in our brain. Okay? And you want to have that feeling again. You want that feeling. So you want to repeat that experience. And then comes into play cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone of stress. Each time you feel bad, each time you feel bad, it's because your system release cortisol in your blood, your nervous system. You feel that you miss something, you feel stressed, maybe you feel angry. Cortisol is all over your body. So why nature give a negative feeling? Why? It's very important for survival. We said that to survive, you need to have good feelings about things that you want to do. You want to repeat those things. You want to repeat them because they promote your survival. If you eat, you survive. If you have a family, a wife, a husband, you survive. You have kids, you make a continuation of your kind. If you don't feel pain, you can work harder, you can work more, you survive. So nature teaches us to survive. And to teach us how to survive, they give us these 5 chemicals that give an address. Go to do this, go to do this. Now you want to reproduce, now you want to eat. Now you want to be important in your clan, in your group of people, in your society. It's all about survival. And when this chemical decayed, you need to do it again. And that's cortisol give you the signal to eat again, to meet other people that can help you, to make more children, etc. Huh? And if you don't have the, let's call them happy chemicals, I study a book, a beautiful book, which is titled Happy Chemicals, and explain all those things in a very simple way. If you don't have the happy chemicals, you feel bad, right? You feel very bad. And the more you don't get happy chemicals, the worse you feel, until you can go depressed or mentally sick. Cortisol give you the signal that you have to move. You have to do those things. It's useful, very useful, even if it gives you the bad feeling. Why we care about not hurting our body? Because if I hurt myself, I feel pain. Huh? I feel pain. And pain is a good thing because teach you not to do something that endanger yourself. If you didn't have pain, I can have a car accident. Who cares? I don't feel any pain. I can do everything. But pain teach you to stop. And cortisol teach you that you have to move. You have to make yourself happy, basically. You want to feel good. It's thanks to cortisol also. So negative feeling has a good impact on survival. All right. So what happens? This is the link with financial. If I have a good feeling about something, I want to repeat that experience. Usually it takes a number of times of the certain experience before the memory is fixed. Sometimes it takes only one. In psychology, this is called trauma. I think you know the word trauma. Only one negative experience is enough, to the point that you can develop a phobia and you don't want to repeat a certain thing anymore because you don't want to feel the same emotion. Repetition can fix addiction. This is the start of pathology. Ludopathy means ludos in Latin. It means game. Pathology of the game, sickness of game, which is gambling addiction. You know this word gambling? When I gamble dice or the casino or football bets or whatever, I lose a lot of money. Maybe you like to watch rooster fight in the countryside. You gamble big money and you lose it. So I make money, I lose money. This chemical in the brain are released. Dopamine, serotonin in a large quantity. I want to make money again. I want to get that feeling of being a winner, of being important. And I bet again, I invest again without attention. I lose, I have a release of cortisol. I want to delete the bad feeling. I go and I gamble again, but I don't know what to do actually. I just want to get the feeling. I lose more money. And this circle, over time, repeated, can fix this behavior in a circle, short circuit, continuous circle, and I'm addicted. And if I don't know what to do, if I don't stop, I can ruin myself. I can even ruin a whole institution like a bank. Sometimes a whole country is buried in debt. You know, make too many debts, and then the creditor, they call the government and say, "Hey, now you do this regulation, you do this law because you owe me money. You have to do that. Otherwise, I don't lend you money anymore." This is happening all over the world in a lot of country, including mine, which is a very high debt country. So, okay. This is the chemicals in the brain, the most important ones. You have to know them because when you feel happy, it's because this chemical is released and you want to feel again. They determine 5 kinds of different emotions, with many shades. They color your life. So, oh, today I want to have some green. Huh? I go gamble because maybe I can get money, I can get dopamine. Just give you a very simple example again. Okay, so the point again is, if I don't have control over this kind of things, over my behaviors, I will not control my emotions, and my emotions will determine the choices I will do. You can imagine in a financial activity or investment, what are the consequences of this lack of self-awareness and conscious. You're not in control of what you are doing. So now we start to look about what can we do to protect ourselves and use wisely emotion. Because some people say that to be successful in the financial markets, you don't have to feel any emotion. You must be dry. I don't think it's true. But you have to use your emotion as a signal if you are going well or wrong. And then you must have a technical knowledge of what to do to control yourself and control what you're doing. There's two things. You control yourself, you know your emotion, you know when it's too much. You have to know when it's too much. It's okay to be happy. But again, we are manipulating money in financial to do something else. You are not money. Today in society, we have a decrease of ethics. I think it's a very negative thing. Especially in the West, there is a decaying of moral rules and ethics, and everything is about technique. I don't think this is a very good thing because this leads to greed without any object. We need to know what to do with the money. So this is about motivation and planning. We try to examine what should be the motivation that lies beneath a financial investment activity. So I think that I said already that young and senior people, they have a different motivation, of course, because young people, they are going to live and build their life, their position, while senior people, they already did it. And this is a kind of irony, tragic irony in life, because senior people know what to do, but they don't care much anymore. While young people, they care about their motivation, but they cannot focus clearly on what they really need and who they are, because they have to discover this. And maybe you come to discover clearly. In my age, I'm about 50 years old, and I have a clear idea about what I'm doing, what I want to do, and where I'm going. But it took a lot of time. And if I knew this earlier, maybe I would be much more advanced in my development as a human being. But probably this is not possible yet. So I give you some simple guideline about what you can do. All right. So first, you have to focus on your aspiration and ideals. You have to try to understand what you really want to do. I don't think many people have this fixed idea. Some have, but very little people have this idea. I want to have a lot of money. I want to be crazy rich. I saw some wallpaper in Indonesia, being crazy rich with the skin business. Yeah, when you're crazy rich, what you will do if you don't know what to do, you can go depressed and suicide. That's why when you read newspaper, rich people have so many problems. You know, they are super rich and they depressed, they take drugs, they kill one day each other. They do all kind of incredible things. Why? They don't have any problem. That's the problem. They don't need to survive. So their only enemy is themselves. You cannot fight yourself. You know, it's a suicide. That's why, especially another beautiful example is celebrity. Why is celebrity have all these problems? Because they have to take drugs to stand to that kind of lifestyle, because they have to fake all the time to be someone else in front of the audience. So let's say I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian. Let's see how the neurochemical works. I'm a comedian. I go on TV, I make a show, I make everybody laugh. They laugh to tears. They feel good. They have endorphins. When you cry, you have a release of endorphins. They feel good. But the comedian that day is very sad because maybe his coaching is dead for some reason. But he has to pretend he's happy and funny. And this happens one day. And then happens the second day, he's depressed, but he has to go on TV and make the people laugh and fake he's happy and funny. So after 3 months, he has to take drugs because he go depressed, because all the time he has to pretend of being someone else. So it's very dangerous to be a celebrity. I understood this at 50 years old. Try to understand it now that you are 20 years old. You will be happier in your life. Whatever you say, it's fake. Have a certain degree of lie. Try to understand who you really are, what you really want, where you want to go. Maybe you want to have a, I don't know, orange plantation. Maybe you want to help other people to be better. Maybe, you know, if you want a lot of money because you want a swimming pool, a Ferrari car, a beautiful villa in Bali, I don't know, it's unlikely you will be happy, even if you succeed. But then it's too late. You wasted your time. Time is the most important capital in finance. Most important. It's not money, it's time. If you have infinite time, at some point you will be rich, even if you don't know what you're doing by chance. You don't have infinite time, so use it wisely. Okay. So I stress as the second motivation point, try to figure out what to do with the money. If you will make money with investment, try to know before it what you will do with this money. Maybe you want to build a hut in the UB forest. Maybe you want to travel the world. That's a simple, good motivation. You want to know the world. You need money to do that. So before you start, make a list. You write down a list. In my life, I want to do this, 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 this. And third, how much money do you need to do that? You need a certain amount. You don't need infinite money or little money. You need a certain amount. I want to buy a guitar, and it costs me 3 million rupiah, the guitar I like, one good guitar. So I need 3 million, maybe 3 million and a half. So I save something. Try before you start your business or job as a financial investor, or even as a saver like myself, I invest my money, to set a limit is very important. Don't make money to make money. try to make money to do something which is not money. And you have to know before how much do you need, because when you have enough, you can stop everything and do that thing. You can even quit the financial business. Why not? Maybe someday you will be a millionaire in my age. Some of you who will follow the rules I will give you later. You have very little chance to lose money if you follow my advice. And you want to be a farmer when you're rich. Do you know how many rich people, they love to live their life in the countryside and have a little plantation and take care of that? You know how many? A lot. Because when they get to that point, they don't care about money anymore. You know, they want to do something real. Real. And what is real? Real is cultivating some tomato. Why not? Some chili. They want to make the best coffee in Indonesia. They sell in a very small quantity to selected customer because it's the best one, is safe, it's the best flavor, whatever. So they don't care about money anymore. Some. All right. Okay. Set the amount of profit you want to realize. Set the amount of profit you want to set the amount of profit you want to realize. Set your limit. I'm not saying you don't have to do more than this. I'm just saying, stay a human being. You're a human being. If you work in a financial business, don't forget you're a human being. You're dealing with human beings. They have a human quality. Finance is not human. They forget about human necessity. That's why we have all these problems, because some people, they want to be too rich. They are too greedy. They don't even need the money they have. They have the power to influence the government choices all over the world. I think it's not good. Stay human. Understand who you are. What is your aspiration, your objectives? And follow them, chase them. Okay, I need, how much is a lot of money in Indonesia, in your opinion, for a person? How much could be a good amount of money? You have any idea? You cannot say? All right, think about it. How much is enough for you to be happy? That's the point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm free. I can do what I want in my life, in this moment of my life. I achieved this objective. Maybe if I have enough time, I will tell you about my story, which is maybe the best thing I can communicate to you today. I did it. I did what I'm talking about. You know, it's not fancy story. I can invest professionally better than many financial promoter I know in my country, better than them. But I'm not a professional financial investor because I want to do something else. I'm a psychologist, I'm an artist. I set this limit to myself. I did it. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, I would be in Italy trying to make more money like a rat running in the wheel, you know, a hamster. You know, the hamster in the cage when they run, you know, they never stop. I had a hamster who died because it ran too much. I found it dead in the morning, the poor hamster. And the money is the same thing. Stop. At some point, you say, okay, this is enough for me. Do something human. Then, if you have customer, if you do it professionally, you have to know what is their needs. Don't project your needs over them. You have to make them happy. You have to consider their needs, their objective. You have to serve them. They pay you for that. You have to respect them. All right? Otherwise, it's better if you do something else, in my opinion. They are human beings. They have human necessity. Usually, customer, the average customer, want to feel safe for the future. All right? So you don't have to speculate too much. You don't have to risk too much. I don't know the inflation rate in Indonesia. Maybe you can try to do a little bit more than inflation, and that would be good enough, more than enough. You protect their savings. That's what you have to do. Don't forget it. Otherwise, you do something else. So you have to consider not only know yourself, your motivation, your needs, your aspiration, but also your customer, your clients. They give you their money, they trust you. So you have to repay that trust. Human trust is very important in life. If you trash your name, nobody will trust you anymore. Your social, they say, drop off. I think nobody would like, nobody. And if you want to honor your name and your family, you have to respect others. So in finance, it's very important to do that. Of course, if you work for an institution, you have guidelines, right? The bank tells you what to do. But if you work on a more personal level, you have to interview your customer and say, why you need this money, sir? What do you want to do with that? So you set a level of risk. Usually this risk should be the lowest possible for everybody. Otherwise, you're going to lose. And that's, we go to the next, let's call chapter. Am I doomed to failure? If you don't respect these rules, you probably are doomed to fail, directed to financial failure, which I advise you not to do. But maybe a little failure is good to feel how bad is necessary to learn not what to do. You understand? You need to feel bad in finance sometimes. So you can do what I did. You take some money, you're young, you can lose all your saving maybe 5, 10 times in your life and rebuild yourself again. You're very young, so you can afford this luxury. Afford this luxury once in your life. You go to gamble. I don't know what you have in Indonesia. Maybe you have sports bet. I don't know what you have. Go and bet mindlessly. Because in gambling, you cannot win in the long term. There are statistic rules. The house have a certain percentage advantage in the long term. You cannot win. Whatever is the strategy, I stayed at the mall for 2 years. You cannot win in gamble. Sooner or later, you will lose. You will start to lose. You have to make more than what you lose just to go to the zero level, to the break point, it's called in English. And psychologically, it's very tiring. You lose money, you gamble more to return to the break even, and then you lose everything. And so you will feel so bad, so depressed, so ugly, that you will know what you don't have to do. It's a useful experience. It's a little bit dangerous, so you can avoid it, but if you do it, say, how many people here lost money in investment or gambling, including Forex with leverage? If you know what is it, is gambling, the same thing. Because you don't start in the break-even point. You started down. In the long term, you cannot win. They know. They wait for you. How many people lost some money? Can you raise your hand? How many people lost money gambling or investing in any kind of form? How many of you? Nobody. How can you be a financial trader if you don't lose some money? you, you have to know how it feels. It's like eating kue or nasi goreng, you know? I can explain about how nasi goreng tastes. But if you don't taste it, you will never know, right? Oh, is it salty? Is it sweet? Oh, is it a little bit burned? Does it give a little feeling? But if you don't taste it, you will never know. And that's very risky because if you don't know how it feels to lose money or make money, the first time you will have a big emotion, you risk you cannot ride the wave. You cannot control it. Okay, whatever. I hope I didn't embarrass you.
Okay, excuse me, sir. Your time is 15 minutes left.
Pardon?
Your time to presentation is
Ah.
15 minutes left.
All right, can I go on? So, which are the, I'm doomed to failure. The basic mistake the human mind makes, because the human mind is made in a certain way, is created for survival. It must direct you, guide you through the natural environment and help you to survive. That's why we develop mind. And also the animal, they have a simple mind, very simple mind maybe, but it's enough to survive. A monkey, a dog, or a lizard, all kind of animals. The mind serves one single purpose, to survive. Happy emotions is good, but it's a chemical illusion. Bad emotion is not good, but it's a chemical illusion. That's why certain philosophy or religion, like Buddhism, Hinduism, they say everything is a dream, everything is an illusion. Because they have the intuition that the feeling is a natural thing, but is a impermanent phenomenon. It's going to disappear. You can feel good, bad, but then you will forget it. You will go through other kind of experience, just like in a dream. And the mind navigate ourselves through the natural environment. Yeah. Is it late? Pardon? Oh, we have to stop? 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Am I doomed to failure? Which are the mental shortcuts or generalization that we all apply to financial activity, and they can cause us great financial losses? These heuristic mental shortcuts, generalizations exist because they help you to take quick decision, which is in nature, and survival is very important to know what to do and what to avoid, because you don't have the time to take a decision. If you see a Semeru eruption, you run away because you need to save yourself. And those similar thinking happens in financial activity and lead us to misjudgment, mistake. These are pervasive in a daily life. Again, generalization is trend is your friend. Stop your losses, let your profit runs. We talked about this in the beginning of the speech. And this is heuristic. But what is the trend? when does the trend of the market start? When does it stop? Stop your losses, let your profit rise. These are the two laws of trading investment. When is the stop? You have to set it. You have to determine, maybe in a digital language, informatic language, you have to write a code in the trading system. When is the profit enough? You have to set it. Where the trend begin, you have to write a rule above the 50 days moving average. Just to give you a simple example, when does the trend stop? If you don't set clearly these rules, you don't set it clearly, you're going to lose money sooner or later. You will lose a lot, and maybe all of your money. Can you go back to the first, please, the previous picture? Go back. Yeah, this one. So this is the same chart, okay? Just seen in a different way, but it's the same chart. So let's say I buy stock here and I sell it here. I buy here, I sell it here. This is very predictable, happens all over the time. So I set these two lines, this channel, and I say, okay, I do this every time because I always win. But what happens next? This is the large picture, okay? This, your idea is broken. And here is broken again. And here is broken again and again. Are you prepared to that? Did you set rules? Did you set rules? Because I promise this is going to happen in your life as investor over and over and over and over and over. If you don't set rules, you're going to lose everything. Personally, I follow the quantitative trading. I write trading system in codes. I can do that. And the most important thing is to manage risk. Risk, it means that you have to know what you do when you're wrong. You have to know before. Whatever you do, it will happen. If you're not ready, you will lose. You will feel with cortisol and you will be very depressed. So the 10 most common heuristics are the control bias. The control bias is the illusion that you can control things you don't know. Stock picking and selection, maybe because someone else told you, oh, this is a good stock, or you read us on the web that the Apple is going to perform well or whatever. Picking stocks is a successful way to make money. The biggest financial loss in investment is caused by this control bias, which is similar when you gamble on the lottery. You choose a certain number because those numbers, they never came out, so it's more probably, it's not true. You cannot control the draw. This is a probabilistic theory and laws. You don't know what's going to happen. So you cannot think like that. You have to think statistically. You need to control your risk. You cannot control the market behavior. You don't know the future. Yeah, maybe it's possible 19%. Good. But what you will do if this 10% you don't consider happen? Well, I showed you before. Okay, so you cannot control the market. You have to think statistically in terms of probability and risk control. Then there is the need to be right. The second heuristic is the incapability that leads to operative paralysis of being not able to recognize where things go wrong, because we tend to project our identity, ego on what we do, in our opinion, in our views of the market. And maybe if I buy some stock and it is going the opposite direction I expect, what's going to happen? And I don't stop the loss. because I hope the market reverse and go in the direction I hope that I'm waiting. And this is not going to happen. I wait again, I lose more money. When you are wrong, you have to stop. You have to recognize yourself, I'm wrong. And how to do this? Again, you have to set rules. So if you follow the trends of the market, you have to know what's your trend, when it starts, when it stops. You have to write a clear rule about that. So when your idea is wrong, and the idea is wrong when you have lost a certain amount of money, all right? So you lost maybe 2% on the risk capital. If you set this rule before because it worked for your financial investment style, you have to stop and respect the rule. And the same when you make profit. When you make enough profit, maybe it's 4%, you don't have to take more. You have to stop it. You have to protect your gains. So percent gain bias, when you read on the internet, I made 1,000% of this stock, do the same like I do, you know, I will tell you what to do. Usually, it's a trick, it's an illusion. Because 1,000%, yeah, maybe on how much capital risk, sorry, on how much risk capital, compared to the total capital, how much is it? Because maybe it's 1% of the capital, they make 1,000%, but they lost money in another way, maybe more than what they made. So you have to consider the percentage always in terms of risk capital or the risk you allow yourself. I hope you understand this technical speech because many of these generalization heuristic is about technical facts that happen in the financial market. Okay, repeated information, generalization number 4. I hear a lot of information in the internet, on the newspaper, in the market, that you have to do this. So you invest in Forex now because Forex have no taxation. You have a leverage. You can make a lot of money with little money, all right? When they offer you something like this over and over, you can hear it everywhere. You can see it everywhere. Usually, it's because they want you to do certain kind of things that help them to make money, not you. You will lose money and they will make money. What money? Your money. They will take it from you. So, for example, if you do Forex, you have a 500% leverage. You will lose everything, for sure. A leverage can be 5 times in a futures market, 10 times. I think more than that is suicide. Already that is nearly suicide, but 500% is just to take your money. Can I go on? Authority, number 5. Some important person like Warren Buffett goes on TV and tells you, I do this. And so everybody follow, you know? All right, it can be a good thing sometimes. But what do you really know about what celebrity advise you to do? They encourage you to do something. What do you really know about the asset, about the risk level, about the regulation of the market? How much experience do you have about that kind of thing? If you don't know about this thing, don't do it. Rely on statistic and risk control. Maybe you will be not happy in the short term, but in the long term, you will be very happy. The need to understand, number 6. I look a lot of detailed information about the asset I want to invest. And I create maybe sometimes crazy theories that don't have any real justification, like the Elliott wave theory, the Gann angles, all these things. All right? What is scientific about that? What is the scientific statistical justification? There is none. The Gann angle tell you that when there is a certain kind of angle in the chart, it's time to get in or get out of the stock. But if I move the chart, this angle moves. Maybe it's 45 degrees, becomes almost flat. If I stretch on the chart with the zoom. All right, so try to understand what you need, what are the elements that you really need, and stick to them. The law of small number is very important. It's about statistic. It says that you need to have enough observation number of a certain kind of event. And the more the number is, the better it is. So just to give you a simple example, let's go to the casino. We bet on the roulette color red. What do? I do this. Oh, I wait. Red, black comes out 5 times, and then I start to bet on red because I'm sure it's more probable that red will come out because black came out already 5 times. It doesn't happen, it doesn't work. It can come out black theoretically forever. It doesn't happen. But in the Monte Carlo Casino, it happened that the same color came out 40 times. And maybe I double the stake when I'm wrong. I do a martingale, anti-martingale, D'Alembert progression, something like this. I move the capital, and that's the sure way to be ruined. If you do back testing with your system, if you back test your system, be sure you have enough number of observation, which in my opinion is about 5 times 500. All right, at least 500, maybe 1,000, maybe 200 of the same event you want to see to invest or disinvest. You must have enough number of observation. The aversion to change is when the people, they don't want to change. Maybe their trading style is not working anymore because the nature of the market is changed. It happens. So just like this, it goes sideways and then it moves in big leaps. And I pretend that my trading style apply because I'm not able to take, I'm not capable to understand that the conditions are changing. Or maybe I have new technological tools and I don't want to use them because I use the pencil and the paper. So to help this, you have to set a drawdown, a general drawdown in the system, a maximum loss. And if that is reached, you have to suspend, to stop, to freeze, or to abandon the trading system. You have to set a drawdown, which is singular drawdown for all kinds of assets and system you're using, and a total drawdown for the portfolio. A representation. So if we go to Surabaya by bicycle, I set Google Maps and I see the route. It's very detailed, but it doesn't tell me anything about how I feel in the bicycle, the fort, the fatigue. The map is not a territory, it's a representation. So again, if I have a chart, the chart is a representation of numbers. Maybe I have a candlestick, but someone create candlestick. This can lead you to an illusion to fool yourself because the candlestick or the chart doesn't tell you anything about how the investor feels. The real capital, boys, is 2 things. Time, because you have a limited amount of time. If we have infinite time, we can invest forever and be rich. And the second is psychological capital. Because when things go wrong, very little people I know can stay cool and know what to do because they planned it already. So psychology is very important. I think they should teach psychology of finance in every financial institution and university. Because when you're happy, everybody's happy. But when things go wrong, very little people know what to do, how to control themselves. This is very important. So you have to know those feelings because the market is made of feelings. When it's up, everybody is happy. When it's down, everybody's scared. But how do you deal with your limitation, with your flaws? And this is a little conclusion I don't have here, but you have to plan your investment, you have to back test your system, and most important of all, number one, set the risk properly, control the risk, diversify your asset, diversify your trading system, try to have a smooth equity. You know, what is it? Equity is the gain. The collective gains you have from all your plans, you backtest them. If the backtest is good, is validated, but this is an object for another speech because it takes a lot of time to describe how to do that. When your system are validated, they must have as smooth as possible equity. Right? It shouldn't be like this. Even if you make a lot of money, it shouldn't be like this. Because if it's like this, you make a lot of money, but you don't know how you feel. You cannot bear. You cannot stand that kind of psychological pressure. You will make a mistake. You will lose money. And that's the finish of my speech.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Stefano. What an interesting presentation, yeah. Okay, we now come to the discussion sessions. I invite both offline and online participants. And there is information from the committee, yeah, for offline participants who ask will get the souvenir from the committee, yeah. We have 4 souvenir from the committee. So for the first sessions, I open for 3 questions. Yeah, please raise your hands and don't forget mention your name. Okay, please. Mas, ini untuk mikrofonnya mana ya? $30.
Okay, thank you.
Come here because I cannot hear you because it's messy. Myself. I can hear you better.
Can you stand up, please? Yeah, please mention your name.
Okay, my name is Wisam and I'm from Islamic Economic Study. Basically, I was a forex and stock trader like you. In yes, forex. And in January 2001, I have gained about maybe little for 60 millions and lose rupees in okay. But after that, I lose more than 40 millions. But don't worry, I have gained more than I lose. Even I have learned about technical analysis, Bollinger Bands. Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's very well. Get the folder. Figure.
Yeah.
Forgot. They don't work.
But it decrease risk. Okay. So is there any simple therapy to build my emotion, my confidence, and my patient people? How? Not. No. Yes. Not anger. Yeah. how is there any simple therapy or daily activity which can improve my image? Yes.
You need to practice meditation. I teach people some form of simple meditation that it's not financial. Most of the thing we do in life is not even financial in somehow. It's not financial. But if you want to have control of your emotions, you can practice a certain kind of meditation. It's similar to yoga, similar, exactly the same thing. If you do a little bit of blood pressure,
But there are some problems. Sometimes my mother was disturbing me. Please help me to this, and in Korea. Okay.
it's a, I have to say, my mom, sorry, so excuse me. My mother called me on the phone and make myself very nervous. So you have to cut the communication. You have to plan to live alone if you want to be financial investor. You must to create the most quiet possible environment around you. That's fundamental. Then you have to do meditation every day in the morning and in the evening. You have to find time to do that. You do some sport. You be careful with the food. You don't take too much exciting substance. Uh, Americans, are the master or investment, and also of the ruin, or the financial ruin. They have a very exciting life, and they support this life with a lot of chemical substance, sometimes drugs, alcohol, and they have a life like this, up and down. They are depressed, and then they are enthusiastic. I suggest you to adopt a daily lifestyle. It should be a habit to make your life like this, like a smooth wave. There must be up and down, but not like this, because finance trading will drive you to this kind of, emotion, a roller coaster, a roller coaster, because it's the nature of the market. You have to go against this nature and detach yourself. Also, what I suggest to people who do investment, don't do day trading, for example. You will lose a lot of money because you have a lot of commission, psychological pressure. The more you close the time frame, the most random is the movement, but you will make yourself the illusion that you can control the movements. It's an illusion. I have 50% chances. You can create a trading system around 50% chances. It's a very good system, because you don't have to take decision if it goes up or down. You go random, but you have to set the risk management that allow you to do such a kind of trading. You take emotional distance, and how to make this emotional distance? Usually, I relax the time frame, 2-3 operations a month, and then I do meditation myself every day.
That's a
And-
question.
yeah.
Uh, when and and when and how I can stop wisely if I have a lot of dream. It's like a big car, house, going to marry. I mean, going to Mecca with a mosque. When
Clients? Are you talking about clients?
I talk about when and how I can stop. If I have
When
a
you
lot-
can stop?
yes, if I have a lot of dreams to reach with money.
Yeah, you have to be realistic, okay? If you don't want to be like Jeff Bezos on the moon with his personal rocket. But this is not easy because I told you, young people don't have a clear idea, but not because they don't understand or they're stupid. It's because they are young. They have to know what they want to do. They know themselves. So I know what I want to do. For you, it's more difficult. If you do some meditation, you will know your body. You will know your mind with time, because the mind is a part of the body. It's not something separated. As you know yourself, you know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. But for these things you say, which are quite simple, I think you don't have to be incredibly rich. You don't have to be crazy rich like the skin business. And you will be happy with that. Do you think you will be happy with
I
the
think
list?
yes. I think.
Huh. If you know yourself, you think you're happy, you have to set an amount of money. You are in a economic university. You can quantify how much your dreams cost. Have a general idea. I don't know. If I want to play, I play the saxophone. To play a good saxophone costs maybe the best saxophone, 50 millions, 100 million rupiah. And then I write it down to buy this thing and make myself happy. I need this money. You don't have to know the exact amount, but you must have an idea, because why this is important? Because when you have the money, you can do that immediately. And when you have the money, please do that. Don't delay. Don't think, oh, I can make more, so I do it better,
I worry about inflation about this car will be more.
Yeah, it's okay. Did I answer properly? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we move to the second participants.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity to Mrs. Sikaria as my lecturer and chief of the Yeah. This was an insightful sessions with you, sir. So I want to thank you to you. And this psychology of finance is really relate with my current condition, with my current situations where I really want more. I really want to take more profits, more than before, like that. So, and I want to curious about something, about how otherwise we control our motivation to our motivation towards one well-known phenomenon in group decision making, like as known as group think. So sometimes I feel like I can control to not lose my cert as a prize, but when group or individually mutually reinforce, I want to trying break my limits from before. Trying break my limits from before. And it comes really fast. So how exactly we deal with assumption or my assumption, like we often likely to prefer riskier options after this, yes, after this group decision.
I want to understand properly what you asked me. Motivation toward well-known phenomenon in group decision. Well, that happens when you deal with other people and institution, and there must be collective decision, and it's very likely there will be conflict. Usually there will be a hierarchy in the group. Someone is more important, take the decision and responsibility, and maybe he will consider all the people which are part of the group suggestion, but eventually in the hierarchy, the most important people will take the decision. So if you're going to work in an institution, like it or not, you have to respect the hierarchy. The people are not on the same level, especially in finance. It's not a democratic thing. That's why a lot of people, they lose money because they don't listen to good advice. Huh? But that's how it works. The motivation is, when it's collective, is a kind of bargain, you know? It's like the government. Some have an idea, another is different. You have to find a compromise. But if the group is customer or clients, you have to consider their motivation, not yours. Their motivation comes first because they give you the money to manage. So what can you do? You must consider if their request is realistic or not, because most of the time it's not realistic. So you have to try to put them in front of the reality, if you know the reality, because we don't know always the reality. So did I answer to the first part of the question? Okay. This is about group thinking. So the hierarchy, the compromise between the different necessity, know one each other if it's possible. Put the motivation of your customer before yours. If it's realistic. Sometimes it's not realistic because they want too much compared to the level of risk you can afford. Sometimes you cannot afford the risk they require you to take because they have no idea. Individual immediately reinforce my limits. This is a bit complicated. Before comes really fast. So are you talking about self-control? The assumption about prefer riskier option. But I answered already to this. Often likely to prefer riskier option. About illusion. But when I say delusion, I don't mean it's not real. If you feel good or bad, it's real, it's chemical, it's a physiological reaction. But I mean, is your reaction really appropriate? What's happening? Sometimes it's not appropriate. We overreact because we project our expectation in the future. We project like a movie. Our expectation is projected in the market movement. The market doesn't know anything about our feelings, you know, and most of all, it doesn't care because it's not a living being. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very stupid thing. It goes up and down, you know, it's a very stupid. There are only two things, up and down. And for such a stupid things, the best mind of the world, they study night and day to forecast if it's going up and down. And many times are wrong because they project their expectation. So self-control yourself, if it's that what you mean, you have to study truly first, risk management. And if you write me an email to my website, maybe I can tell you also what book you have to study, because I studied with American traders. Risk management, position sizing. Position sizing, it means the diversification of risk on all your assets. So if things go wrong, you are not scared because you set the control of the risk of the capital, of the working capital, the risk capital, the position. This is the meditation of trading. Also the gentleman there. The real meditation of trading is being able to manage risk because you planned it before. You don't take the decision on the moment. Even if you know what to do, you don't take the decision on the moment. You plan everything earlier. And then, again, you must do some work on yourself, like meditation or yoga or a psychology technique, which is not much different than meditation in a way, to know how to use your mind. The mind is like a horse. Huh? If you let the horse loose, it takes you where it wants. Maybe you want to go to Batu and the horse go to Semer. You have to control your mind. And there are techniques to do that. I teach them. I know techniques. I do this on myself every day. I'm 53 years old. Every day I do this work. The mind is a crazy horse. And you need to ride it. You need to control it. But even if you can control your mind, you don't know how to do with risk, you will lose money. If you know how to manage risk, you don't control your mind, when you will be under pressure, it's very likely you will do mistake. All right? Are you happy with my answer? Okay.
Thank you, sir. That's very clear.
Well, okay. If you want to write me, you go on my profile, Instagram or Facebook or my website. You can write an email for more technical information.
Okay, is there any questions? Okay, please come to the stage.
I advise you to maybe write a little guideline of your question, like the lady here. So if I don't understand clearly, I can read it and I give you an appropriate answer. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Delia and I'm going to ask some questions. At the first session, you said that we need to set our limits. But to set our limits, we need to know our limits and we need to set everything before we start doing the Forex and other stuff. So what I heard from people around me, they tend to say that we need to go beyond our limit. We have a limit, but we have to go more than our limit. We have to break the limit. Did you understand what I'm saying? And then, since you say that we need to set our limit, is it okay for us to limit? Is it okay for us to go beyond our limit, to pass our limit? And if we are going to do that, how did you manage to know that I am going on my right way by going to our by going to going beyond my limit? And when did you think that, oh, I need to stop? This is I'm getting way too overconfident with what with my future. Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get the idea.
Okay. And what I'm saying, what I'm asking is, when did you realize that you need to stop?
Okay. So to answer this question, I have to talk a little bit about my biography because I tell you what I did. You cannot do what I did because you're a different person. You have a different idea, aspiration. But I can give you a real example of what I'm talking about. Okay. In September 2018, I left Italy on a bicycle. I went to Nepal, I crossed Himalaya, I came down to Indonesia, and I settled to Indonesia. I left everything behind. I left my job, my house, everything. And I made one-way ticket to Kathmandu. I didn't know what would happen later. I had no plan. Maybe some people would think I'm crazy, but now I'm here. I'm doing a speech in a beautiful university in front of young people. So I did something good, but I did a real bet on myself. I wanted to change completely my life. But to do that, it didn't happen overnight. It was a plan that I carry on maybe for 10 or 12 years to have enough money to protect myself, whatever happened. And so that's 12 years ago. I started to know everything about the stock markets and investing and risk and all the things that I'm talking about. It was just have a connection with my profession as a psychologist, but it's not strictly related to my profession as a psychologist. Because I knew I had to build the capital to live my dream, my decision. And just before I did this thing in September 2018, my life in Italy was not bad. The conditions were better than when I took the decision 10 years earlier. It was better. So I said myself, am I really going to do this? Am I going maybe to destroy my life? I even have enough, do I have enough money? And then I said myself, okay, I worked 12 years to do this. I have enough money. I studied hard. I worked hard. I even learned things that I didn't know anything about it. And maybe sometimes better than the financial advisor in my bank. They don't know what they are talking about. I can understand it. Am I really going to do this? Do I have enough money? And two things came to mind. I saw myself maybe 10 years older in a small cafe in Italy, maybe drink a little coffee or glass of wine, thinking, oh, I could do that. I could live my dream. And I didn't do that because I was scared. I prefer to live quietly here, comfortably. And I was scared of myself. Can you understand? I can do this now. I worked for 10 years and now I don't try. Am I stupid? I did all this for nothing. And this is the human part. The technical part is to have enough money. Huh? Before I did all this 10 years ago, I had quite an idea, a round-up idea of how much money do I need to do that and be safe. And the result is that I had twice the money I set, 3 times. I gathered so much money, more than what I expected, that I could live comfortably there, you know, and that was very dangerous. Because in 10 years, if I didn't do what I did now, I would ask myself, what did you live for? What for? Are you an animal? You want to be comfortable in a hole? You did all this to make your dream real. And now you have twice the money you need and you don't even try. That's why I endorse you to set a capital limit for your project, your life. Because I risk not to do anything because I had too much money. Okay? Maybe you can be ruined and lose everything. But if you have enough money, it's very risky because you will want more to be safer and safer and safe, because the more money you have, the more you feel safe. And that's a very dangerous thing to live. If you don't take any risk, you're not living. I'm not advising you to break your neck, but take some risk. You're young, you have the right to live your dream. So you need to know what's your dream. You need to have an idea of how much money you need to realize this dream. I did it at 50 years old. You can start now. You can do much better than me. So having a lot of money can be paralyzing because you think only about the money. You're afraid to lose the money. You think you need more. Maybe you can have a little bit more. And in the meantime, you get older. And maybe after some times you're not willing to do anything to be safe. What kind of life is that if you are safe and you didn't live your aspiration when you could, if you can? So this is my human encouragement to be yourself. Know yourself and what you want to do. That's the most important thing. Be careful because maybe sometimes you have a dream which is inducted by society. Like, I want to be a cinema celebrity. Because I see celebrity on Instagram, and that's not you. It's a trick. Celebrities are on drugs because they don't want to be celebrity. So it's a very serious thing. It's not philosophical. It's real. So do you know what you want to do?
I know what I want to do, but sometimes I get some insecurities that I think that, can I do this? I get, sometimes I think about that, but when I get my mind up, I get everything set up, I think that I might do this, but I think I need to set something before I finally step and get my things really set up.
You know, if I die tomorrow, I die happy because I did what I wanted and I live 10 times the life of my friends in Italy who stay in the chair and go to the restaurant and have a little drink, and they are afraid to do anything else because they don't want to take risks. You are young, you will change many ideas because you are young. That's natural. It's not a problem. Just try to know yourself, what kind of person you are. Cultivate dreams that fit your personality. Your personality is different than ideal personality you want to have. You must find the true yourself, which is your sensitivity, that mostly can be identified in your sensitivity. Are you strong? Are you easily emotional? I don't know, all these things, you have to build your dream about your real personality, not what you see in the internet, in the media. That's a lie. It's a lie because it cannot fit to everybody. It's just a model to drive the people action and money. It's a kind of social teaching, social pressure. You will be not happy if you follow that, probably, because maybe you will be happy. So you know yourself, is this my real dream? And then maybe in 2 years you change a little bit, you adapt your dream, but try to be realistic. The money is something that you use to do that thing. And when you can do that, because you have enough money, do it. Many things you don't need money to do also. But to afford a certain freedom, if that's what you're looking for, I was looking for freedom, but it's not something for everybody. I think it's for little people, but I don't know what you want to do. Whatever you want to do, if you need money, ask yourself, how much do I need to do that? When you have it, maybe a little bit more, but not much. Do it. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
the answer.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Stefano. I think our time is up now, yeah, and we should finish now.
You can ask me later, or because there was one.
Yes, the time is up. Maybe you can finish. Maybe you can ask directly to the Dr. Stefano after this event. Yeah. Okay. Before I close this today guest lecture, let me draw some conclusion. Yeah. First, from the presentations, fear and psychology are the main forces that guide the financial market. Yeah, but seldom to discuss, although this is often the cause of many error and distress. Okay, and the most important related to the psychology is neurotransmitters, which consists of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphin, and cortisol. So in financial activities, yeah, there is one important thing that must be considered, namely motivations. So we must have a clear motivations for what we do financially and how we plan, such as What do we need from money and for what to do related to our needs, whether for saving, retirement, or insurance, the profit target we want to achieve and the duration to achieve the target, and what are our personal goals and expectations. And we have to control the risk and do diversificate, yeah. Okay, we now come to the end of the sessions. Thanks for all participants today, and thank you also for Dr. Stefano. And I apologize if there are some mistakes from me. And please give applause for Dr. Stefano. Okay, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And I'll return it to the Master of Ceremony.
Thank you, everybody, thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, what an excellent presentation from our keynote speakers. Thank you, Dr. Stefano Balani, for the insightful material, and the Miss Pita Devia SS, PhD, for creating an interesting discussion session. As human beings, the positive and negative colors of emotions bring to our life and motivate all our actions. When we decide to invest, we must carefully examine our motivation. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we have had an inspiring time together, and we come to the end of the session. I hope you have found the presentation are informative and helpful. Before we end the session, it will be better if we pray first. Pray based on individual beliefs begins. Yeah. Thank you. I represent the committee. Thank you very much to all who attend today's guest lecture and apologize for our shortcomings. That's all for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Till we meet again, and may all of you have a great day.